As we wait word from the courtroom on how Rosie Perez is doing on the stand, let me bring in my guest, former prosecutor, criminal defense attorney Vinu Varghese, and Marie Napoli, who's a trial attorney. And we are so lucky to have you. We need your expertise, Marie, because much of what you do is representing victims of sexual misconduct.
Yes, sexual assault and sexual harassment.
This is completely
exactly what I do.
Oh, I got a little news from the courtroom. Rosie Perez has just concluded her testimony. It seems a little fast because she just got on the stand at 2:15. I know Judge Burke usually starts on time. So she got on the stand at 2:15. What time is it, people? It is 3:40. That seems really quick. Vinu, I'm going to go to you first with that. Does that seem quick?
I imagine her testimony was limited in scope, so they probably got to the questions. The defense attorney asked the questions they needed to ask, and she's off the stand.
I would just think that in this case, both the prosecutors and the defense attorneys would like push the envelope to keep her up there longer.
I don't think the defense attorneys want.
That's true. That is true.
They want to get her off the stand and forget that she was ever even up there. So
yeah, you know, we'll wait for word from the courtroom to find out how it unfolded. But Marie, now that we have you, I really want to ask you about what you think of Dr. Barbara Ziv. Now, especially, you know, my issue, and Vinu, I want to hear what you think, because what I am very upset about, and this is just a purely legal argument, is the order, the sequential order. In my experience, defending sex crimes, the expert comes at the end. You know, build me a foundation of accusers and then bring an expert to educate the jury. Now, my problem, Marie, is that I feel like this expert has put in some suggestions into that juror's head, because she says things like, victims do everything from comply to make false statements. So if you cry, you're a victim. If you don't cry, you're a victim. If you tell, you're a victim. If you don't tell, you're a victim. It's a free-for-all, and it's not fair.
Well, I don't think that it's not fair. I think people come into these kind of trials and they have preconceived notions of how a victim should act. So I think it's fair that they understand what the truth is. So when they're hearing the testimony, they're not in their mind saying in their first impression, oh, this person is lying. Oh, this person would know what color hair her assailant had. When that's not necessarily the case. And so then to have them come in at the end and give testimony as to the truth of how the victims would behave, they've already ingrained in their head that the person is lying or not lying. So I think it's very important that it comes in the beginning.
Please.
I think this is total junk science. I mean, she's talking off the top, just saying what the prosecutor wants to say.
Let me just remind the viewers, Dr. Ziv has been a forensic psychiatrist,
right.
So she's an MD for
she's I think
almost 30 years. $400 an hour, Vin. $400 an hour, that's a lot of money. She's doing better than all of us put together, I'll tell you that.
Well,
okay,
you know, some of us did okay.
Okay, all right, there you go.
I have to disagree with you.
But let me just set this. So she's been doing this for almost 30 years. She's been an expert in the field for almost 20 years. She's been qualified as an expert in 200 and 250 cases. Just to give our viewers some context. Now, please.
Yeah, but that's because the prosecution controls the cards in these cases, right? When you have most judges are former prosecutors,
she has testified for the defense, too.
Maybe once in a while,
she
right?
Has. I'm just putting it out there.
She has now gained her fame by being the person. What they did is they did a different stroke, as you said, in the Cosby case, right? So she's out there saying, hey, you know, ignore your common sense. That's what she's saying. There are things that she's saying that just fly against reality, which you said just a minute ago about, well, if she does this, she's a victim. If she does this, she's a victim, right? So when she says that most women don't report, right? Well, in 2018, the last time we had statistics available from the FBI said there were 127,000 plus reported rapes in the United States. So does that mean that there were 128,000 unreported rapes? How is she going to know that?
No. But wait, hold on. They may have reported years after. So which actually goes into what she's saying. Reported doesn't mean timely report. No, I can report being raped in the 90s today.
No, but that's
part of it.
Then that comes into your question, right, of whether it's real or not. Just because they report rapes doesn't mean that that's a real rape, right? I mean, that's
Well,
to me,
okay,
what's a
Marie,
real rape? It's something
rape
that's
trauma syndrome.
confirmed by
Yes,
law
but hold on.
enforcement.
Rape
This is
trauma syndrome
exactly-
has been well settled in the law for at least 30 years.
And quite honestly, women don't report rapes after, and that's one of the reasons they're changing the statute of limitations civilly, both in New York, New Jersey, and throughout the country, because they're starting to recognize that this is a real thing, that women do not report it because they don't want to be attacked. They don't want to say that you're a liar. The rape itself is already about power, a power play, where the man has more power over the woman, or vice versa, whoever's the assailant. So for her then to come forward and face that accuser and them saying exactly what you're saying, they're going to be re-traumatized time and time again. So I am very happy to have experts like this doctor here.
Would you call that secondary victimization? That's what they call it, yeah.
It is a secondary victimization, absolutely. And that's why it's so hard for these women to come forward. And that's why it's taken so long in this case for the women to come forward until they had more numbers behind them to make them feel safe.
No, I believe in the science. I believe everything you're saying. My whole problem is the order. I'm just upset with the order with the foundation.
I actually think there's what you're saying is common sense. Right? That
No, but I don't agree. There's not junk science. It's been around
but
for
when
decades.
when you're putting on somebody with these credentials to start a case by saying, oh, watch out for all this stuff, what they're doing is highlighting, in a way, and the defense should jump on this, that there are problems with these cases. Because if their cases were strong, why do you need to bring in people from years and years ago?
Every rape case will have the same problems because that is the natural reaction for women not to report.
Sure, but that doesn't make it real. And then you have a situation.
It does make it real.
Really?
And that's what we have.
I don't think either of us were there, right? But what is the expert wasn't there either?
Wait, nobody gets raped with witnesses, Vin.
No,
okay,
hang
I'm
on a
getting yelled
second.
at because I have to go to take a commercial. But people, I mean, come on.
What I'm
I had
saying is
one
now
case
having
where there
an
was a
expert
video
coming
in an
saying,
elevator where a
based
guy
on-
raped an
on
18-year-old girl on her way to school.
Now
That
that
doesn't
doesn't
happen
make
every
it
day.
real.
Oh, all right. I mean, listen, I think you both have just valid points, but the science is real. It's been around for a long time. Otherwise, there would have been a hearing beforehand. Right now, it's like no.
He precluded the defense expert, or much of the defense expert.
That's the defense expert, but not the Barbara Ziv has been in since the jump.
Right, but what she's allowed
They decided that she was testifying in April.
What she was allowed to some of the things, and when he started objecting, he asked to approach. Judge Burke is just overruling, which Judge Burke will do.
Now they're going to fire me if I don't go to a commercial. Okay, thank you both.